Mr. Assange?
Yes.
Have you concluded your initial remarks? Or is there a gap in there, that technical gap?
Well, I think I would prefer if we went to questions, because I become a bit concerned that people can't hear precisely what I'm saying. But if there's questions, I'll be able to see more clearly if people can hear.
Well, great. Thank you for those remarks. The quality of the sound was not excellent, but I think most of us understood what you were saying. There were particular things that I personally didn't understand because of the quality of the sound. But your thoughts are clear. There will be questions, even, and I'm talking to the audience now, even if you didn't understand any particular thing, like the relationship with the New York Times and the groups of journalists that Mr. Assange was referring to vis-à-vis the U.S. government's position. You can ask those questions. Let me just ask you, whoever wants to put a question forth to come to this particular place. The video gentleman here is telling me this is where you can be seen by Mr. Assange, and maybe the quality of your sound would be much better. So, Mr. Assange, we look to forward to a very fruitful discussion there. I'm sure there is much more that you can tell us and inform us on. But we'll do it in a question and answer session. If you don't mind, we appreciate you being here. Please, anyone with a question, a clarification, I would come here to this spot where I'm standing. But comments, if you have to make a comment, please include that in your question. So, please, tfadl. Identify yourself first.
Yes. I'm Mickey Mistrati from Denmark. I'm editor of Ekstrabladet. I would like to know what you did mention Denmark in the beginning, but I didn't understand exactly what you mean. Did you get my question?
My mention at the beginning was, yes, indeed. Well, we've had quite a long involvement with Denmark, going back 1 year. Politiken and our organization were involved in exposing an abuse by the Danish Ministry of Defense, whereby they published a book that in fact they had translated to Arabic, written by a Danish SAS soldier, and then gave that to BT, one of the biggest Danish publications. The result, without saying that they had translated it, and pretending that, in fact, that jihadists had translated this book and were going to use it to kill Danish soldiers in Afghanistan, something that it turns out to be false. It was translated by using Google Translate by someone in the press office. But this most recent incident with Denmark pertains to the Danish Ministry of Defense asking the United States government for unredacted copies of the Iraq war logs, those 400,000 files we released about the Iraq war, because they saw that Danish soldiers may have been involved in deliberately handing over Iraqi prisoners to the Wolf Brigade and other Iraqi army units for torture, as a sort of internal renditioning of prisoners for torture in Iraq. And the Danish Ministry of Defense has set up an investigation team to understand if that happened and to hopefully prosecute those individuals responsible if that occurred, because it is, of course, a breach of the International Covenant against torture. Now, the United States, when asked by Denmark, its NATO ally, a close NATO ally, an ally that is present with it in Afghanistan, to provide those records so it could investigate whether those abuses had occurred, refused. And so the Danish Ministry of Defence was forced about 2 weeks ago to write to us instead and ask whether we could give them an unredacted copy where Danish soldiers were mentioned, which we have agreed to do.
So we have limited time. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Please. Please identify yourself.
Yes. Good morning. This is Philip Abu Zaid, reporter from LBCI Lebanon. My question to you, where do you want to reach in this war? Are you going to the end? And did you receive some threats? Are you afraid to get killed, let's say? And another thing concerning your website, I've accessed it, but the way the files are displayed is not so clear. Maybe I didn't understand all the files, but can you teach us or tell us the hints how to get the access to your files and how to understand them?
Good things are always in turmoil, and this organization, as a good thing that is under constant attack, is especially so. What you see on the website presently is a reduced version of what we have published. So on the main website, you do not see the last 3.5 years of our publishing activities. You can see the last some of the last 6 months, and especially the last 2 or 3 months. And that is a specialized interface into the Iraq war logs and the Afghan war diaries. If you go to mirror.wikileaks.info, you can see our older publishing archives. Critical parts of our infrastructure have come under attack. Our financial systems have come under attack. And so it's a difficult boat to keep running when there are such attacks against us. The legal situation is also troublesome. But we have, for the Iraq war logs and the Afghan war diaries, a really very sophisticated interface we have designed to search those things and expand acronyms and pull together different categories and so on. That should be mostly self-explanatory. And there are a couple of videos floating around of the press conference I did in London, where that interface to search through those 500,000 classified documents is plain.
Mr. Assange, I have to announce that for those who want to ask questions in Arabic, there is a translation facility for whoever wants to ask in Arabic. Please feel free to do so, and we'll have it translated. Next question.
Hello, Mr. Assange. My name is Frederick Lorin. I'm from Swedish television. You are wanted on a rape charge in Sweden. When will you present yourself to the Swedish authorities?
Well, we will be releasing some information shortly about that matter and other aspects of Swedish society. But about any key details, I think it is best, and I have been advised to let my lawyers, Mark Stevens and Mr. Hurtig, speak for me.
If you excuse me, Mr. Assange, but that wasn't an answer to the question. When will you present yourself to the Swedish authorities? You are a wanted man for a rape charge.
Well, this is a conference, and I'm afraid you will just have to be polite.
I'm Natasha Yazbek with AFP in Beirut. The documents you're leaking put people at risk not only in Washington, not only in Britain, they also put them at risk in the countries that are currently suffering these atrocities. So when you weigh out
I'm sorry, can you rephrase that?
Sure.
Can you rephrase that question again, please?
Okay. your project puts people at risk not only with, at the State Department in Britain, it puts people at risk anywhere.
Is that your personal opinion?
Well, yeah, okay. But my question, let me ask it this way then. Do you fear that you're putting people at risk in countries that are already at war? And then when you weigh that out versus how much change WikiLeaks has actually made, what's your assessment of that? And I have a second very quick question. It's been a while since you gave a private interview, so if you'd like to give me an interview, I'd be more than happy to take it.